right? I can sense that. Well, you saw a poll, and it showed. I'm big on facts, not on feelings. I'm big on facts.
I was letting you have a feeling.
Thank you. The poll showed that the support for Trump doubled among black men.
Incredible, right? From 11 to 22%.
Yeah, in less than a week, in about a week. And it shows you there was a dike. And once the dike broke, it broke. And the support for blacks in general has increased about 50% for Trump over the last few weeks. All of it because Kanye West, Candace Owen have made it okay for people all around the country to have conversations like you and I are having right now. Yeah. And these kind of conversations are taking place. And black people are saying, wait a second, Donald Trump wants to build a wall and do something about illegal immigration, in part because studies have shown, there's an economist named George Borjas. He's probably done more work on the impact of illegal immigration than any other economist. There's no question, he writes, that illegal immigration, unskilled especially, poses competition for jobs for people in the inner city and puts downward pressure on their wages. So Donald Trump wants to do something about that. And studies have shown that when parents have vouchers, the results are better, the kids graduate at a higher rate, their test scores are better, and the parental satisfaction is through the roof. And Donald Trump wants to provide inner city parents with vouchers, and the polls show that inner city parents want them. And the teachers union, which is right in the pocket of the Democratic Party and vice versa, does not want you to have those. But Donald Trump is a bigot. So people all around the country are having this conversation. And the economy has done well. And under Obama, the black labor force participation rate, the percentage of black men looking for jobs or working, hadn't been that low since they were keeping stats. And under Donald Trump, black unemployment is at an all-time low, in part because he's lowered taxes and stopped turning back some of these stupid regulations that strangle businesses. And when business doesn't do well, the people that suffer the most are the people at the bottom, the ones that need a job and don't have a job. And Donald Trump is doing something about that, but he's a racist? That's kind of a difficult argument to make. His daughter is a converted Jew. Yeah. One member of his cabinet is the formerly respected Ben Carson, but Donald Trump's a bigot?
Don't forget our openly gay now ambassador to Germany, Rick Grinnell, and a series of other people.
And don't forget all the
Nikki Haley at
all the video
UN.
you see of Donald Trump hanging out with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton back in the day when they thought that he could benefit them. Now all of a sudden he's a bigot. It's outrageous. And that conversation is being taken place all over the country. Also rappers, as you well know, used to rap about Trump all the time. I think, one syllable word, his name rhymes with a lot of stuff. Yeah. So they used it, and they often talked about aspiring to be like Trump. Then he ran for president and became an SOB. How did that happen?
Do you think he was just the guy that was the only guy that could have done it, basically?
I think so. Hillary was the best funded, best backed candidate I've ever seen. And it took somebody to take on the media and to cut through CNN and MSNBC through social media. Also, Trump snuck up on people. The media is really angry at themselves for letting it happen. I read that he got about $2 billion in free advertising. Now, a lot of it was bad. Yeah, I mean, but the numbers went up. Whenever they showed him, the numbers went up. And as they began knocking off people, they realized that he was being taken seriously, and then it was too late.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned that poll, that 11 to 22% amongst black male poll. That thing came out. I quickly saw it on Twitter. And then I kind of looked around. I was like, wait a minute, this seems massive. Like, we shouldn't understate this. Right. A doubling of support. Right. Now, if at any point it had doubled under Obama, although you're saying it was high enough to the point that it couldn't have doubled, but under any other situation with any other minority, the media would have been going bananas.
And it was, I think as I recall, a respected poll too, wasn't it Reuters?
I'm not totally sure, but by every estimation, it was a legit poll.
Yeah, a legit poll, yeah.
Yeah, so that just shows you where the media is at with this.
They can't talk about it. To talk about it also then lends energy to it and would encourage more and more people to rethink their assumptions. So let's just ignore it.
Yeah.
I once asked Thomas Sowell, when you write a column like this, I forget what column it was, but it was some column, I think, challenging the assumption of race-based preferences. And he challenged some big study. And I said, when you write something like this and you effectively refute some study, what happens? He said, usually nothing. He said they ignore it, next thing, and they move on to something else.